This is a Nickelodeon special edition, A Conversation with Magic.
Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers.
Magic's just a great basketball player. He's the best I've ever seen.
The perfect demeanor, tough, confident, winner.
He embodied all the attributes of what it takes to become a great player. Sometimes you dealt some bad cards in life, and you got to play the hand out. You can't quit, and you can't stop.
Trying to educate other people. That's giving of yourself, giving up a lot of yourself. I think the kids are going to learn from that.
Hello. This show isn't about basketball. When Magic Johnson went on television and said he was HIV positive, he also said he wanted to help kids know more about AIDS and safer sex. Good. HIV infection is spreading. People in 157 countries have been diagnosed with AIDS, and there is no cure. You have a right to know about these things. You have a need to know. Ignorance is not bliss. You don't go to heaven if you die dumb. That's what this show is about, not being dumb. It's about AIDS, safer sex, and you. I'm Linda Ellerby. These are some kids with questions, and this is Magic Johnson.
Hi, happy to be here and happy to be with all the kids. We're here to educate you out there, as well as help you to understand about HIV and AIDS, and it's going to be a beautiful day. So I know these kids are anxiously waiting to ask questions and learn a lot, and I know I'm waiting and prepared for their questions.
What was your first reaction when you found out you had the AIDS virus?
Well, my first reaction was you're devastated, you're upset, you're disappointed. Because, why me, so to speak. But then I think the hardest part was actually trying to prepare myself to tell my wife. And I knew I had a baby on the way, and you're worried about whether the baby was safe. So all these things are running through your mind. And so I just got home, and God gave me enough strength to tell her, and I'm just so happy that she's not affected, or the baby so far. So.
Did you know right away that you had to retire?
No, it was mentioned to me by my doctors that I should retire. That was their medical opinion.
I take it you didn't want to, did you?
No, I talked it over with my wife, and it was the best thing. I mean, as soon as he said it, I looked at her, she looked at me, and I recognized that look. You know how your dad gave you that look like you're in trouble?
Yeah.
And you know you're in trouble?
Yeah.
Well, my wife gave me that look like, you better retire. So it's like, there was no question. Well, thank you.
My question was, how do you learn to, live with it? I guess if I got HIV, I'd probably be, crying and screaming all over the place. But how do you learn to, live with it?
Well, that's most people, that's their first reaction. You're devastated, you're upset. But I think what you have to do is that you have to understand you have it now. You have to try to say to yourself, okay, how am I going to defeat it? How am I going to deal with it? And first of all, you have to have a positive attitude. That's number one. Because if you're down, if you think that you can't live on, then it's going to overtake you instead of you overtaking it. Then you have to eat right and take care of yourself, get a lot of rest.
Well, what exactly is AIDS? I know it attacks your immune system.
Right.
But, what are the bacteria involved in it? And what does AIDS stand for? Does it stand for?
Well, AIDS, you're asking a tough question there, but a good question. Now, you said it before that it attacks your immune system. And how you can get it is three ways. It's if somebody using needles, sharing needles, you can get it through blood, and you can get it through sexual behavior if you're having unprotected sex. And right now, I think we're all trying to learn, even the doctors themselves, why does it attack? Why does it weaken your immune system? What can you do to prevent it?
It is a virus that gets into your body. And what it means, AIDS stands for acquired, that's the A. The ID is for immunodeficiency. And the S is for syndrome, which means a series of problems. When the HIV infection gets inside your body, it destroys, as Magic says, it destroys some of the immune system that fights other infections. So it leaves your body open for other infections to come in and take over. And when a group of them has taken over, we say that person has AIDS. Who's got a question?
I do.
Zoe.
So, like, really, how did you feel when you noticed that, like, some people wouldn't be liking you because they heard that you had HIV?
Well, if they were my friends, my true friends, then I felt like they wouldn't change. We could still be friends. They would just treat me the same. They wouldn't all of a sudden stop being my friends if they were my true friends. Now, other people out here that may have been an acquaintance, maybe people that I don't even know, maybe they dislike me for me having this virus. And that's all right, because I don't live for other people. You know, I live for myself and my family. And so if they dislike me, they dislike me. I'm still gonna go on.
Magic, we have some questions from some kids that we've taped earlier that aren't in the audience today, that are in other parts of the country. I think we want to hear from one of those.
My name is Joey from Bridgeton, Maine, and my question for Magic Johnson is, I was wondering if you'd ever expected to get the HIV virus?
No, I never expected it. I'm like probably most Americans, most people, that you feel that it wouldn't affect me. It wasn't in my neighborhood, or it couldn't get to me. I was also naive to thinking it was a gay disease, and it only could affect gay people.
Well, what do we know about the ways that you can get HIV, get the HIV virus?
Blood transfusions?
Blood transfusions, Abigail. Okay, yes, there was a time when people got the HIV virus because they received blood, say during an operation, from somebody who was infected with the virus. But now the screening process is a lot better. So the blood supply in America is relatively safe now. This is not a common way to get the virus at all. Any other way?
Needles and sexual contact.
All right, needles. Needles is a very good one. If you're taking drugs intravenously, if you're shooting drugs with a needle, and you share a needle with somebody who's infected with the HIV virus, you can get it. The same with unprotected sex. If you have sex with somebody who has the HIV virus and the sex is unprotected, you can get it. Any other ways?
Well, from mother to child.
If the mother has the HIV virus, she can sometimes pass this virus to the child while the child is still inside her body, before the child is born. These are the ways you can get it, and you know what? These are pretty much the only ways you get it, for the most part.
And what you have to understand, too, is that, see, we're talking about two different things. When you're talking about the virus, it's one thing, HIV virus, and then when you're talking about AIDS, it's another thing. The virus causes AIDS. So just because you have the virus, that don't mean you have AIDS. The virus has to turn into AIDS. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay.
Do you still feel strong?
Yeah, I'm strong. I can pick you up right now. See? I'm still strong, and nothing has changed there. I lift weights, I work out, I run 4 miles.
Dribble children.
Dribble children. Put them in a basket, shoot them.
How long did it take you to decide that you wanted to speak out about you having AIDS?
HIV.
HIV.
Yeah, that's good. You keep saying AIDS, and we correct you. It took me about 1 day because I would have had done everybody a disservice if I didn't let them know that this is out here, the HIV as well as AIDS, and it's out here in a big way. And that heterosexual people, you and I, can get it. I mean, anybody can get it. Because I thought, oh, not me. You know, that's a gay disease, that's a gay people's virus, and so on. So I was naive to think that.
You've heard about high-risk groups, gay men, intravenous drug users, and maybe you think only people in high-risk groups get the HIV virus. Not true. Getting the virus depends on what you do, not who you are. If you practice unsafe sex, you may get HIV. Doesn't matter who you are. If you share dirty needles, you may get HIV. Doesn't matter who you are. Any action that allows blood from one person to get inside another person's body can transmit the HIV virus. It's not what group, it's what behavior. Now, when it comes to behavior, the good news is, think of all the ways you can't get AIDS. I said can't.
This is serious. If someone has AIDS, you can still be friends. You can touch and hug, hold hands, sing and dance. You can run around, enjoy a game of tag. Take a dip in the pool, jump in with a splash. You can share your lunch, share an apple or juice. Use the same bar soap, but that's what you choose. Because AIDS is in the inside, it's not on the outside. There's no need to hold your breath, it's not in the air. Kids, you gotta know, together we have a chance to beat this disease. You gotta take command, you gotta listen and learn. Get the facts straight, update yourself, ignore all the nonsense about AIDS. How it can spread from person to person, from skin to skin. It's a joke and it hurts them to know that we fear them when we have no reason. They're human just like us, so why do we fuss? Let's cut the nonsense and violence, take down the wall's defense, which keeps us away from them. Time to lend a hand to your fellow man, fight for life and AIDS with the bang. So don't forget the lesson of the day. If you touch someone with AIDS, don't sweat it, you can't get it. Just because they talk to you, you can't get it. Just because they go to your school, you can't get it. Just because you share a pen, you can't get it. Just because you're playing with them, you can't get it. No, 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 you can't get it. This is serious. You can't get it. This is serious.
It's nice to know there are so many ways that you can't get it, which is good to know because, you know, you look around. Do you get scared of AIDS? I mean, do you think about it much? Zach, how about you?
Well, I'm not really scared that I can get HIV. I'm not afraid to shake hands or, you know, be close to somebody. So I'm not that afraid of getting the virus.
How about you, Aviola? Do you ever think about it?
Well, I think about it because I hear it on the news all the time. But, you know, I mean, I don't really think I'm going to get it just this yet because all of the ways that you can get it, I mean, I haven't done any of them.
And also, with that, always talk to your parents because they are the key. You should talk to them first, and they should give you the right information and the way to go. Now, who knows somebody who has the virus? Anybody know anybody? And how do you treat them?
Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, my brother has AIDS, and we used to live in Federal Way, and AIDS was pretty new back in there, and nobody really knew about it, and they weren't educated about it. And whenever my brother, we went public about it, and some people found out, others didn't, and a lot of people gave threatening phone calls, and they actually made it so bad that we had to move. Mm-hmm. And the last thing when we moved was when it was on the 4th of July, and when we lived in Federal Way, we had a big cul-de-sac, and every year we all did fireworks. And then my brother, he came up to some of his friends, you know, that were friends with him for a long time. And another kid, he was on his bicycle, and another kid rode up and said, "Hey, you're not supposed to be playing with him. He has AIDS." And they rode away. And we couldn't find my brother Jeremy, and it turns out he was in our backyard. He was folded up in a lawn chair, and he was really sad, and that's when we moved. And the people now in Redmond, they really treat us really good.
You know, one of the things, obviously, is that you can't tell by looking, can you?
No.
There's no way you can tell how many people sitting here are HIV positive. Okay. Rachel, you want to talk to us about that?
Well, I feel really scared about having HIV and being HIV positive. I feel pretty mad, especially at my birth mom. It's just hard for me to be HIV positive. So
Do people in your family tell you they love you a lot?
yeah, they tell me that a lot of times, especially that will be the first word I hear from them, usually when I go over there. My aunt's house or my grandma's, they come over, my cousins too. I told my cousins a couple weeks ago, and they were pretty surprised because they didn't know. My mom and dad found out about this when I was 4. They told me. They told my brother first, then they told me. So.
Do you have a positive attitude? You have to have a positive attitude, because we can be mad. I mean, but it's nothing that we can do. Okay? So what I'm telling you is that just live. And if you're getting their love and their support, then that's all that we can ask for.
I can understand why you'd be feeling some anger. Your friends at school, do they know yet?
Well, we just I went yesterday before I got here. I went to my school. We told the principal and some other people who knew about me for a while. The principal told my teacher, and some people are gonna come in from the AIDS Project and come to my school, and they're gonna tell the kids we're gonna show a video. I think we're gonna show this one or another one.
I think you're a very brave human being. Is there anything you'd like to say on the television to kids who might be finding out that they have friends in their class who are HIV positive? Is there anything you'd like to tell them about how you'd like to be treated?
Well, I'd like to tell them, well, some kids, they get scared about having, from their friends being HIV positive. They get scared and they'll think they'll catch it. I just think that they won't play with me or talk to me or hold my hand or anything, but...
And they shouldn't be scared like that.
Yeah. I hope they know the ways that you can get HIV.
And the ways you can't. Yeah. And they can't get it from being your friend.
That's right, because you'll hold her hand, won't you? All of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, see, and treat her the same way. You wanted to say something?
That I want people to know that we're just normal people.
Oh, you don't have to cry. You don't have to cry. Because we are normal people, okay? We are. You just want to be treated like that, right? You just want your friends to play with you and call you up and come by and still have sleepovers and things like that, right? Yes. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry. You know, I think that with this program, I feel that we'll be able to educate all your friends and everybody else.
I'll just
that if I had AIDS or if I was HIV positive, I wouldn't want people to neglect me or something, because it doesn't make you feel good if you seem different from somebody else, or in any way, if you seem different and people don't like that, and people stay away from you, and it makes you uncomfortable, and it's just not the best feeling. And if you know somebody, or you just find out that somebody in your class or who are good friends with you, or neighborhood has AIDS or is HIV positive, you should treat them like you did before you knew them.
Right.
Before you knew if they had,
Right.
if they were HIV positive.
But like, the whole thing is, what they have to understand is, from hugging and kissing and high-fiving and playing or riding the same bike and on the jungle gym and whatever you do, you can't get it. From playing videos and Nintendo and the whole thing.
All the things of being a friend.
Yeah,
You
being a
can't
friend, you can't get it. And that's what we're trying to explain today. And this has been a wonderful, wonderful program, because it's involved you. And what has really, I think, made me feel good is that these two young women have come out and expressed and said that they have it.
That's right.
And you, their peers, have rallied behind them. And that's what you out there need to do. Rally behind your peers who have it, and not, like she said, don't treat her any differently.
We have another question on tape.
My name's Christina from Tampa, Florida. Magic, what message would you give to people who think this could never happen to me?
Well, my message to them that it can happen to you, and I'm a prime example of that. No, I never thought it would happen to me. I thought it was far removed from me, from my community, the whole thing. And it has happened to me. And it's happened because I had unprotected sex. And that's why I came out to let people know that it can happen to anybody. You, I, anybody out there as well.
I think one of the things that you've shown us so well is that you do what you have to do in this life, and sometimes you do it a lot better than you even think you can. And that's good to know. Are there any final thoughts you have?
I'd just like to say that I'm behind everybody who has AIDS, and I'm just glad that everybody here could be here. And this doesn't really have anything to do with what we're talking about right now, but I don't think anybody who has AIDS wants to go out being felt sorry for. They want to just be known for who they are.
Exactly. That was what I was going to say. You know, you have to understand that I don't want anybody feeling sorry for me and Rachel, and you don't want anybody feeling sorry for you. What we need and what we want is just support. We just want our friends to just hang out with us like they used to do. Just have fun, you know, for them, play and chase them around and have a good time, hold their hands. For me, just high fives and play basketball. And what people with HIV virus or AIDS need is support and love. They want people to reach out to them and treat them no different than they treated them before. You know, it's a lot that has to happen in terms of education. And I think today we've educated a lot of people. And remember, it can happen to you, me, anybody, through the things that we talked about. So
You're right, and the best protection you have, any of you, the best protection you have is in education. Learn more. Ask questions about this disease. Remember, you have a right to know the answers. You can ask your parents. You can ask the school nurse. You can call information and ask for the State Department of Public Health. But ask the questions. This much we already know. One, there are definite things we can do to protect ourselves against the HIV infection. Two, people who have AIDS or who are HIV positive deserve our compassion and our respect. And this, too, we know. Civilization will survive AIDS. However, how we behave to one another during this crisis may tell us a lot about whether, as a civilization, we ought to survive. Nobody can change the past. But Magic Johnson has shown us how a hero can behave. You are tomorrow's past. You can make a difference. Goodbye for Nick News.